This is the new Volvo S60, and perhaps the most remarkable thing about it isn't what it gets, but what it doesn't get. Yes, for a very long time, the traditional executive saloon car was hugely popular with diesel power. But Volvo has big plans to electrify every new car it launches from this year. And so that means the S60 is the first modern Volvo offered exclusively with petrol engines. This is the third generation S60 and it's larger than before, and it's based very closely on Volvo's V60 estate. But is this car really a genuine alternative to the likes of the BMW 3 Series, Mercedes-Benz C-Class and Audi A4? That's what we're going to find out in this review. And remember, if you want to buy a Volvo S60 or any of its rivals or any other new car for that matter, go to whatcar.com and hopefully we can save you some money in our new car buying section. You can find out straight away online with no hassle. And please subscribe to our channel. Now, if you've been keeping up to speed with Volvo's latest new cars, then the S60 will be quite familiar to you. And in fact, it should be incredibly familiar. And part of the reason for that is that this is the 7th all-new car that Volvo's released since 2014. Now that's a staggering number of new cars to release in a very short space of time. And of course, part of the reason it's been able to do that is because, well, all their cars look the same. Now, that could be a negative thing if they were ugly. But Volvo has absolutely nailed its design for its new cars, don't you think? Every one looks really nice and it's kind of got that understated elegance about it that is quite rare in this class. So it's still instantly recognisable from other Volvos in the lineup. You've got the Hammer of Thor headlights at the front, but actually the front design is refreshingly free from aggressive grills and air intakes, and it's just not quite as fussy as some of its German rivals. So the Russian doll style of design doesn't really seem to be impacting Volvo that negatively when it can create cars that are as good looking as this. But what's the inside like? Well, just like the outside, inside it's pretty much a near mirror image of every other new Volvo on sale, especially the V60. But when they make interiors as good as this, that's no problem at all. So all the materials are really good quality. Everywhere you have nice soft touch leathers, nice feel on the steering wheel too, and even this metal effect trim on the dash. It's very easy for that to look cheap and nasty, but here it's done very nicely indeed. And you've got really nice knurling on the starter button, the volume control and the air vents, and you have a cool Swedish flag on the seats as well. Now that's all what we're used to before, but still, although we've seen this on other Volvos, it doesn't really make it any less impressive. It's still brilliant. And in this class, it's only the A4 that beats the Volvo really for outright build quality. Everything else, the S60 is right up there with the 3 Series and all the other good cars in this class. But here we are again in a Volvo with a lovely interior that's just let down slightly by this infotainment system. So let's explain why. Now, it's the same 9-inch tablet style touchscreen that we've seen in all of its other new models, and it's very responsive. The graphics are really crisp and clear. It gets DAB radio, sat-nav, and some models also get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto now, although not all trims get it. But it's got a fairly confusing layout. There are quite a lot of menus and sub-menus that you have to scroll through, but really the biggest problem with it is that there's just one shortcut button for it, and that's this button down here which takes you to the home screen. Now it's true you've got a volume dial down there as well as some other media shortcuts, and you can control those same things through the steering wheel controls as well, but it just means that everything else has to be controlled through the touchscreen, which means when you're driving that can be very distracting. One slight disappointment on interior quality is the steering wheel mounted paddle shifters behind the wheel. Now you can see if you look at them, they have a nice metal effect finish on the front, but actually when you touch them on the back, you realise actually they're quite cheap and plasticky. And another handy feature that the S60 gets is up front on the windscreen you have this clip where you can put parking tickets as well. Now that's something that we've seen on Skodas, and now Volvo do it as well. As for space, up front there is tons of room, and the driving position is bang on as well. There's plenty of adjustment in the steering wheel here and also in the seat as well, so there's no problem. No matter how strange you think your driving position might be, you will definitely be able to get comfortable up front in the S60. As for storage, well, the door bins down here are actually a bit on the shallow side, but still enough room for a bottle, but not much else. On the centre console at the back, you've got a nice big open storage space with a good non-slip floor to it as well. You've also got 2 USB ports there. These are very nicely disguised storage compartments here with a place for your phone and also 2 cup holders and another space in front of a 12-volt socket there. Again, with a non-slip floor, which is really helpful. It means things won't be running around if you're going around a corner. And then just in front of that, you have another hidden storage compartment that is not quite so useful in its size, but if you want to carry around lots of toothpicks, then that's probably quite helpful. Maybe a house keys as well. What about the glove box over here? Fairly decent size, nothing hugely special, but still useful to have. And so storage up front is good, plenty of space for the driver. In the back, the S60 impresses again with the space on offer. Certainly among its closest rivals, legroom is especially impressive, and there's loads of headroom too. But really, just bear in mind that if practicality is your main concern for a car in this class, then the Skoda Superb reigns supreme. Now, what else have you got on offer back here? Well, you have a fairly shallow door bin for passengers. You've got this storage net behind the driver's seat as well. You've got that odd size storage compartment thing, but really I'll show you, you can't even really fit a phone in it, so I don't really know what it's for. Anyway, underneath that you've got a 12-volt socket, and you'll notice down here, actually this is quite a sizable hump in the floor, so if you're a middle seat passenger, that could be really quite uncomfortable to have to straddle either side of that. You've got ISOFIX mounts on the outer 2 rear seats, and then down here, if you pull this down, you can see that you have another bit of storage. Now that's a bit more phone sized. And then you'll see this button here, there's another one on this side, and press one of them and it lifts up this for some more storage. But you're probably thinking, hang on, where are the cup holders? Well, don't worry, because there are the cup holders. So loads of storage options back here, and the space on offer is impressive too. As for the boot, well, the S60 is very comparable in size and practicality with the 3 Series. In our test, we managed to fit the same number of carry-on size suitcases in the boot of the S60 as we did in the 3 Series. And I mean, take a look for yourself. You can see it's a nice, wide, deep space that's very good for this executive car class. You've also got some handy practical features, like these tethering hooks at the front here, and there's 2 on either side at the back, and you've also got these hooks up top as well. There's a storage net on the side and a bit of extra storage space on the other side, although not that much. Also, if you are brave enough to go right to the very back of the boot, you can open the ski hatch like that, nice and easy, as long as you've got long legs. But there's no underfloor storage, although there is space for a spare wheel in there. There's also a bit of a load lip at the front, but compared to its rivals, it's not really that bad. However, the worst thing about the S60's boot is the fact that it only has a fixed rear bench. So that means that you can't fold down the rear seats, at least on the entry-level options. You can choose it as an optional extra, but the S60's rear bench on the model we've got cannot fold forwards. Now that really is bad in this class, because most things at the very least get 60-40 split folding rear seats, and some get 40-20-40 as well. So if you're going to be loading especially long items into the S60 that aren't a pair of skis, then you might need to look at another car. But then, to be fair, you probably aren't buying a saloon executive car to be your load lugging tool, so perhaps it's not the end of the world, but for some buyers that might really put them off. One other handy feature on the S60 though is this button up here. Now, it doesn't have a power assisted tailgate on this model, it is available on other models, but if you press this button, it means that when you close the boot, the car will lock itself without needing to get your keys out. But how does the S60 stack up financially? These are the key things you need to know about buying and owning a Volvo S60. The S60's list price is a little bit cheaper than a BMW 3 Series. The S60 isn't quite as economical as a BMW 3 Series in the real world. The S60 is also cheaper than a 3 Series and Alfa Romeo Giulia on a PCP finance deal. And CO2 emissions are quite high, so an equivalent 3 Series should be cheaper to run as a company car too. We're driving an R-Design Edition model, which is a launch version, but soon you'll have 3 different trim levels to choose from. R-Design Plus is the entry-level trim, but still gets loads of kit, while there's Inscription Plus and the range-topping Polestar engineered trims to choose from. We'd go for Inscription Plus, mainly for the suspension option it gets, but more on that later. Recently, Volvo's had a very poor reliability record too. In our latest reliability survey, the manufacturer finished behind all of its key rivals. But surprise, surprise for a Volvo, the S60 performed brilliantly in the latest Euro NCAP safety results, scoring the maximum 5-star rating. Automatic emergency braking is standard. So we've already said that the new S60 won't be available with any diesels. So that means that the range is made up of one 2-litre 4-cylinder petrol engine that's available with 3 different power outputs and 2 hybrid versions within that. So the range kicks off with the T5, which is the car that we're driving now. It's smooth and it can cover 0 to 60 miles per hour in 6.9 seconds, which isn't embarrassing, but compared to equivalent petrol engines that you can get in the BMW 3 Series and Alfa Romeo Giulia, it is noticeably slower. You can also get a plug-in hybrid T8, which is much quicker. Although we're yet to drive it in the S60, we were very impressed with this engine in the Volvo XC90. There's also a more powerful version of that engine available in Polestar engineered trim. If you want more pace and the benefit of hybrid power, then these certainly could be worth considering. Just bear in mind that it'll raise the price pretty considerably. But no matter what engine you pick, you wouldn't describe the S60 as fun to drive. Now remember, this is a class that has some of the sweetest handling cars available, like the new BMW 3 Series and the Alfa Romeo Giulia. And in that company, the S60 just feels a bit ordinary. The steering is smooth and accurate, but there's nothing about the way it drives that really excites you in the same way that it does in a 3 Series and in the Giulia, which would be fine if this was a very comfortable car, but it's not. Well, at least the model we're testing isn't. So we're driving an R-Design edition with 19-inch wheels, and R-Design models, we're used to that with Volvo, they get lower, firmer suspension setups. But the result is a ride that really isn't very comfortable at any speeds. Now in a 3 Series, the ride can be a bit spiky around town, but it really does calm down on the motorway. But in the S60, with this suspension and this size of wheel, it's just uncomfortable regardless of the speed you're going, and it always feels quite firm. Now there are other models available in the lineup, like Inscription Plus, and that will get a different suspension setup along with all the T8 engines. So we definitely recommend going for those. But it's a relatively quiet interior. Although having said that, an A4 is much quieter, and a C-Class is too. But still, the S60 has a pretty quiet interior, and the only real noticeable disturbance to the piece is road noise. So the Volvo S60 is an interesting executive car with a plush interior and competitive PCP finance deals. But against the best cars in the class, the ride quality isn't up there, and neither is the handling. For much more on the S60, including our extended written review of it and all of its key rivals, go to whatcar.com. And remember, if you want to buy a new car, any new car, on whatcar.com, hopefully we can save you some money. So go to the new car buying section while you're there and see how much money we can save you. Remember, it could be thousands. And subscribe to our channel because we'll be doing loads more reviews like this with some group tests and first looks too.